The High Line Canal is a historic irrigation canal that runs 71 miles from Waterton Canyon all the way out to Aurora. We have over 1 million trail users on the canal each year, and it was hand dug in 1883 to deliver water to irrigation customers along its 71-mile reach. But the canal is really outliving that historic function and has transformed into more of a regional recreational trail, an urban ecological corridor, and a green stormwater management system. These earthen banks are now this biodiverse, vibrant ecosystem and provide an opportunity for wildlife to move throughout the region. The canal connects over 8,000 acres of open space.
The canal corridor is an amazing place to see turnover in plant community types. If you go down to the southwestern extent, that's the inception of the canal where the water first comes in. That's a very rugged foothills landscape. A lot of native shrubs and smaller trees like box elder grow there. Then as you move more to the northeastern extent, you start to get into more urban areas. So you see a little bit more of the fingerprint of human land use surrounding the canal. There's a mix of native trees, but also different species that have come in over time due to human land use. Things like smooth brome are very common. And then as you continue even further to the northeast, you start to see a little bit more of a drier landscape, getting out into areas that are a little bit more reminiscent of shortgrass steppe prairie types. So there's very clear turnover from the beginning to the end of the canal.
The High Line Canal Conservancy is a nonprofit that was formed in 2014 to preserve, protect, and enhance the High Line Canal in partnership with the public. And we are really committed to working with community members and local governmental jurisdictions. The Conservancy has been partnered with Denver Botanic Gardens for 5 years, and our partnership started in 2018.
Our work encompasses what I consider to be 3 pillars that are very important to understanding sustainable and functioning ecosystems, and that is plant biodiversity, water, and trees. So we have 3 main projects going on. The first being a botanical inventory that we undertook several years ago, and that is the first most basic thing that needs to be done. Anytime you want to understand the ecology of a system, you need to know which plants are growing there. And we found nearly 500 plant species representing almost 20% of the plants in the state. When we come out to do a botanical inventory, we make natural history collections and we keep those specimens in our herbarium in perpetuity. So at Denver Botanic Gardens, we have an herbarium where we hold natural history collections, and our researchers make use of specimens that were collected 100 or 200 years ago to inform our work. So we're doing the same thing. When we make a collection, we're hoping that future researchers can make use of the information that we're providing to them to inform their own work. We also do more applied restoration and conservation type work. We're working to understand how green stormwater infrastructure is going to shape plant communities out on the canal, as well as how the plants that are growing here are going to shape the functioning of the green stormwater infrastructure. And we want to make use of green stormwater infrastructure in the High Line Canal because we're planning for a future where there may be less water coming from its inception at the South Platte. And that brings us to the trees themselves. We also need to plan forward for the future of the canal canopy.
The research into the newly planted trees is really critical for the Conservancy. The plan for the High Line Canal recommends planting over 3,000 new trees along the canal's 71 miles by 2035. And the Gardens is going to help us understand what species are performing the best, what sites should we be planting the trees so that they have the best chance of survival and can really realize lasting benefits for the environment and for trail users.
I see 3 major end goals to this project. The first is that we're contributing to a basic understanding of urban ecology and plant diversity. The second is that we're asking and answering very specific questions for the High Line Canal Conservancy and their jurisdictional partners about different conservation and restoration work that they're doing out here. And the third thing is that we're using the research that we're doing to connect the public and the people that use the canal to the canal in new ways, helping them to understand the plant biodiversity that's out here and the science that we're doing at the gardens.
The canal means a lot of different things to our different trail users. We've heard a lot from other folks who use the canal to bike or walk as part of their daily exercise routine. And then we also hear a lot from people who find the canal as a space to kind of slow down and experience nature.
Absolutely, my favorite part has been the people that stop to talk to us when we're out here working on the canal. It is invigorating to learn how many natural historians we have living in the city. Everybody is paying attention to the nature that they see in this urban space, and they know a lot, and they're sharing what they know with each other and with us, and that's been so fun.
The Conservancy's long-term vision for the canal is really the community's vision for the canal. We are committed to working with community members and our jurisdictional partners to preserve, protect, and enhance the canal.
As more people move to cities and live in cities going forward, understanding urban ecology is going to be critical. So yes, the work that we're doing will inform other urban greenways and urban landscapes. For example, the tree monitoring work that we're doing, we are developing protocols that we intend to share freely with other municipalities or groups that are doing tree planting campaigns in other locations. This project could not happen without the help of many different kinds of people who have different roles at Denver Botanic Gardens, the first of which is our volunteers. There's been probably upwards of 10 volunteers who have been out on the canal with me helping to take data. And several grad students also are doing graduate work, their thesis work, in relationship to questions that we're asking out here on the canal.
And I think it is so cool that they can come out to the canal and really use it as an ecological laboratory right here in the metro area.
I envision this partnership to be ongoing because there are endless ecological and biological questions that we can address out here on the High Line Canal.